Hey everyone, welcome back to Rally Caps. It's a podcast for artists, entrepreneurs, and everybody in between. I'm Steven.
I'm Gene.
Oh, gosh. And I'm Eric. Oh, my God. Were you sitting on that just waiting to do that?
I was like, what do I say? Like 5 seconds before he started. That's a good one.
That was good.
I
It was
like
unexpected.
That was good.
That was good.
And we're doing a podcast today. So today we are going to be starting by discussing the topic of short form content, specifically Instagram Reels, and our personal experiences with them, all in an attempt to answer a question. Are Instagram Reels evil? Spoiler alert, no, they're
Yes.
not. They're not
Wait,
actually.
what?
Wait, what? No, we've all been talking about this a little bit recently. We're gonna touch on this more in a little bit after we talk about personal experiences, but we're trying to, bring a little more positivity into the year, a little more optimism, and I think hopefully shift mindsets about things that are very stigmatized like Reels, because I think a lot of photographers in particular hate them because of the connotation that they bring, but hopefully in our personal experiences that we share, we can maybe shift that mindset a little bit. What do you say?
I'll just be quiet the whole episode.
Oh, great. Okay, no, you open up then. Hey, when someone says you should go make an Instagram reel, what's your gut check response to that?
No.
Cool. Why? Let's examine that.
I mean, it's reflective of the one I just posted earlier this week.
Which one was that?
Well, I just sat down and was like, hey, stop recycling the same audio that everyone else is using and like sit with your thoughts and make something that comes from within you.
And do you think that's possible to do with Instagram reels?
Yes. So that's
cool.
the positive spin.
Okay. But in general, though, your gut check is like, ew.
Well, I was in a weird mood that morning and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling, because I was just listening. I was listening to Nick and Jordan on Nick Bear's podcast, and they're talking about their creative evolution over the past 5 years and how at the end of it, like, while their production value has just elevated to a ridiculously high standard, they're both just like, we don't. I mean, sure. Yeah, that just kind of comes with time. But like all we care about is what the message is at this point and how it's affecting and landing with people. And I'm like, I couldn't agree more. So I don't know. It was kind of that fed up moment and point where I was like, I just want to say something about this because I deleted TikTok off my phone. And the natural thing you do when you delete TikTok off your phone is you just go to Instagram Reels and start watching those because I never did before, like at all. And I'm like, oh, what is this about? And every other one is like, use this trending audio now.
Okay.
And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, is this? And then I saw some other guy who was like making money on TikTok by screen recording YouTube videos. He was screen recording like gameplay.
Okay.
And then stacking it with some other kind of video.
Okay.
Bringing it into CapCut. And then visually, it's literally just visual stimulation. Putting them on top of each other and putting it on this random TikTok account to try to get 1 million views. He's literally just content farming, like stealing other people's work, stacking 2 clips on top of each other and putting it on a TikTok account where it goes viral and he gets paid for people to mindlessly scroll and be addicted to this garbage that he didn't even make.
Wait, so it's...
And it was like, this is how you make money.
It's gameplay of like a basketball game on the top half, and then what's on the
no,
bottom?
it's people playing video games on like the top
video
half,
games,
and then something on the bottom or whatever.
And they're not even related. They're just
no.
What?
And all the comments were just like, "Oh, so you're the worst person in the world."
Yes. Okay.
So you're a thief, and you're a thief, and you are profiting off of people's addiction to this device.
This is actually an excellent example because this definitely puts one end of the spectrum up for short form stuff. This exists.
Well, And I was like, those are the feelings I was having when I made that reel in the morning. And then I made it and I watched it at the end of the day and I was like, I sound angry.
I will be honest. I remember that reel that you made now. And I was like, dang, is Eric okay? Yeah. Is he feeling all right?
I know.
This is a little out of pocket for him.
Yeah. Sometimes like I've been making stuff recently where in the moment I'm like, this is a great idea. And I do it and I'm like, I sound sad and angry. Because we were talking last night at our small group and we got on the topic of hearing your own voice. And I was like, yeah, it's my whole career. I have to listen to my voice. So I'm just kind of desensitized to it. Yeah. And so I brought up that reel And Sabria, my wife, was like, yeah, you like, you sounded really like,
What's wrong?
she was like, it sounded like someone was putting a gun to your head to make you read that. I was like, no, it was actually like deep, what I was feeling deeply about the topic.
It was TikTok. TikTok was holding the
It's
proverbial
just,
gun.
it's so hard to like give advice, but kind of be authoritative at the same time, where you're like, I don't mean to be authoritative, but I'm hoping that this hits people's ears in a way where it's like, hey, stop doing the same thing everyone is doing.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's welcome to my TED Talk. Here's the conclusion. I just am so tired of people copying each other. Like that's just.
Yeah. Fair.
And it creativity is copying. It is.
Right.
So at its core, yes.
Yes.
Necessary. To what degree is the ethical question?
Right.
It's more so copy parts. Take parts. Take small bits. Take pieces. The issue is it's a copy paste from one source doing the same thing. It should be a multitude of sources. Again, my opinion.
Yeah.
Should be a multitude of sources influencing small bits and pieces of some other thing you thought of, or were convinced to say, or were motivated to say or do.
I think the frequency and the mindlessness of it also play a part too,
Yeah.
because there's a difference between someone's photographic style influencing you and you taking bits and pieces of that and adapting it to your own voice and vision versus truly mindlessly regurgitating, copying, stealing, reposting, all for the sake of nothing, really. There's not really a purpose to
gain
it.
followers.
Yeah.
Like that's literally, people are like, no, that's the end goal. I want a bigger number.
Which is wild. Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, why? And you keep digging. Okay, why?
Yeah.
Okay, why? Okay, why? More brand deals, blah, blah, blah. And then like if people end up getting that, being someone who has gotten that, where it's like numbers lead to a brand deal, lead to this money, lead to this contract, you get into that work and it's just as dissatisfying as doing the reels that you hate to get the following.
Yes.
Because you have, most of the time, a brand just being like, you need to make it this way. You need to say these things. You need to X, Y, Z.
Yep.
And you're like, well, at least I'm getting paid to do it.
Right.
But like, is that why you got into this?
But with what voice?
Yeah.
If your voice is just other people's stuff, what do you even do when a brand presents you that?
It's literally just they're essentially being a parasite to you as a creative.
Yes.
And then you're being your mouthpiece, and it's scary.
Gene, do you feel similar?
Positivity, right?
Positivity. No, this is good. This is the right opening though, because we're going to come in swinging with some optimism in just a sec. But we need to set the scene.
Yeah.
You know, we need to kind of establish the playground in which we are having this conversation.
I would say that I have felt very similarly to Eric for a few years now, especially with the rise of TikTok. I would actually say though, recently I've had a change of heart. And for me, at least, it's not that I disagree with everything that Eric just said. Actually, I agree with all that stuff. For me, though, I'm actually thinking less about the perspective of the consumer. I'm actually thinking more about like myself. And one of the realizations I've had recently is I would rather be in a position of creating things when I feel excited about it than kind of like the mental hurdle of making like a long form YouTube video. So for me, that's where I sit right now. Like I'd rather keep sharing my work with music attached to it. With like, for me, I'd rather post at this point a reel with my work than just a post with my photos.
Okay.
This is where I sit right now.
Okay. Wow.
Just because I want to tinker. Like I want to tinker with like, I think like one of my goals for this year is definitely get better at video. And I want to use short form as a vehicle for me to practice. Yeah. Because not everything is suitable for YouTube. And like I've shared many times at this point over the past like 7 months, I don't want to talk about cameras anymore. I don't want to like necessarily make every video about film photography, but because of that, I'm still a photographer. I still want to share the work I'm excited about, but I want to use short form as a vehicle to do that, but not use long form to commit to like that being the vehicle for me to make those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Totally.
That's kind of where I sit. So like I actually care less about like the mundane, not thinking about it, just like churning out. But can short form be a place where I can tinker a little bit and treat it very differently than long form video? I think like for me, I'm not necessarily even trying to use reels TikTok videos to like fuel YouTube. I just want to use it as a separate place just to have fun.
Yeah.
Like for me at least, like I don't care about the views. Like,
But that could, someone listening to this could hear that and just be like, well, that's a really privileged perspective to have as a creative, right?
Totally.
Because they're like, I need Instagram Reels to book my next job.
yeah. And I mean, that's like, I think for me at least, to say what I'm saying, it does require an individual to work hard in other facets of their business if they're creative like us. Like you need to make money somehow.
Right.
I'm not making money from Reels or like TikTok videos, but because of that, I do have the opportunity to make those things just for fun. But frankly speaking, so does everyone else. Like you can have a 9 to 5 and still make Reels and get a ton of views. Like at the end of the day, it really comes down to what's the objective and then how will you go about attaining that objective. And for me, at least, it's not like grow a massive following through a 15-second video that I'm using that everyone else used a million times that song. Like it's not going to happen that way.
Well, I think so many people, photographers and filmmakers, don't want to be constricted to having to make short form videos as their career. But I look at it now as a way of like, okay, when we started out, we were blogging like crazy. We were blogging all of our weddings that we were shooting.
Yeah.
We had a portfolio on our website, and our website was really this like rich place where people could see the body of work that we create and the real life stuff that we do and we shoot.
Yep.
And so is Instagram or that medium now, that platform, a way for you to showcase your work in that way? So it's not so much about the means to the end is the actual content you're making to make more of that content, but what is it like you making that video? There are that's where like there's a lot of value in people following you.
Yes.
Right. If someone who is more established in the career, is in your line of work, who is now adjacent to the stuff you're doing, and they're seeing you make this stuff out of passion, and you are showcasing what you are capable of, those people in real life, in the work you're wanting to do, are seeing that work that you're making on a fairly consistent basis, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to hire Gene to make Instagram Reels doing that thing, but I am shooting this XYZ and I actually want to hire him to do that.
I think that's like the one other note I had was like if I were to empathize for like the people who watch our stuff, right? Whether it's YouTube, whatever, if I were to empathize for them, I would prefer to know what's going on with the brand or the person that I follow. And if that means that they're sharing occasionally through TikTok or Instagram, I'm fine with that. Yeah. But if they were to disappear fully for 8 months off every platform and I just have no idea what they're up to, like as someone who supports or loves what they make, that bums you out. Yeah. So I'd rather still make stuff, even if it's the vehicle of short form, to continue showing the people who support me or us what we're up to, than show nothing. And then it just, you begin to... It's not that you're taking advantage of their support as like a personal brand, but you begin to lose a bit of that empathy. You begin to lose some of that support as well. Yeah. So like for me at least, again, I'm not saying like post like crazy things all the time, but if that means like posting a short form video occasionally, like I think that's great so that people who support you know what's going on.
Yep. This is the perfect segue into the kind of like catalyzing thought that I had that wanted me to like make this episode and use it as a topic. This thought kind of came crashing into my head last week. Your favorite movie has a trailer. You listening to this at home, you watching this right now, your favorite thing, a long form piece of art, has a trailer to it. In that sense, we have the option to make trailers for our work as well. We can treat Reels, we can treat vertical video, whatever platform you're doing that on, as a trailer to the stuff that you truly love. Even if you think Reels are like a lesser art form, maybe you don't think it's art at all, maybe. It can still be the thing that drives meaningful traffic to something that you're really proud of. Case in point, last year, I made a reel about the Italy documentary that I made, the family trip that I went on last March. That reel, for me, blew up a little bit. It got almost 500,000 views on Instagram. Drove meaningful traffic to the documentary that I made that I'm really proud of. The reel was like fine. It was cool. And I treated it like a trailer to the thing that I was really excited to share.
Yeah.
And it actually pushed people to go watch it, hear about my family's history, comment, enjoy, like participate in the conversation that documentary was. And I hadn't thought about it at that point in time, But the more I've sat on it and thought about it and let it simmer more, I'm like, there's actually something to be said here about treating reels and like shifting your mindset around them to not just being the regurgitative thing or the thing that just uses a trending sound or whatever it is, trending song over and over again. Maybe it includes that, but shifting your mindset to think about that short form thing, that trailer, so to speak, as a way to advertise the other things that you are creating. And so maybe that's your photo work for Gene, right? Like you want people to see your photo work. You're really proud of it. You don't necessarily want to make a whole YouTube video about it, but you have a body of work that you're proud of and you're using Reels as a trailer to the main event, so to speak.
Yeah. I think like what we're experiencing right now is just an up in frequency with output. And I think that will continue happening. Like for me too, if I ask the reverse question, how do you guys feel about long form video? Well, there's a lot of YouTubers and videos that make things that I don't think are great or I don't like to watch anymore. For me, it's like, it's just a medium now. Like short form, I think as well, yes, the frequency is going up, but it's just a medium. And I think as long as we choose to make sure that we use those mediums in a way that's both, it holds integrity to whatever brand we've presented to the rest of the world, or the things that we're excited about, and not making things that we're not excited about. But I think like short form and long form, in a lot of ways, they're very similar. It's just, you can make bad stuff with YouTube videos too that are 5-10 minutes long. Like it exists out there. So I think for me, it's just like perspective shifting of how will I use these various mediums now? Because there will be someday something else that comes up. Even podcasting is a medium that wasn't really a thing that was big 10 years ago, but you guys have taken advantage of it. So like, I think that stuff will keep happening. It's just like prospectively how we look at those mediums in a way, like you're saying, to take advantage of, to benefit not just our personal brand, but also benefit the person who's digesting or consuming what we're making.
And just to acknowledge that it's been around for a while too. Movie trailers have been around as long as movies have, right?
It's just like little iterations.
And they're changing with the times. We're adopting the way that we have access to them and the way that we can convert. Maybe it's 9:16 instead of 16:9 now, whatever it is. But it's the same principle. It's having a distilled version of the main event, so to speak.
That's why I've had a reckoning with my main channel for a while now. Like I've been producing running videos for months and months on the running channel. It's been going really well. And I think I've seen a lot of success in that because it's telling like 3 different stories at once. It's an overarching story of my running life over years. It's the individual block I'm in for training that people are following along, or it's like the very specific workout or race that's happening within that video. I think what's really interesting in that is the larger story. And I think that YouTube and people finding success and longevity and sustainability on YouTube now are creating longer form things and slowing way down and making the viewer like commit to watching as if it's a TV show, as if it's a movie. I think of people like Taylor Pendleton. I think of people like Grainy Days. I think of people like Sarah, who are creating these long pieces where it took them maybe weeks, months to make, but the return is so much better on an artistic front, on just like a consuming front. It's so less cotton candy and much more like, wow, this was rich and this was an experience to make and view. And for me, now that like things have become so diversified, I really want to start exploring those where it's like, okay, right now I'm thinking about making a video about the mural we're collaborating on downstairs. But what would it look like for me for that to just be one chapter in a video that's like 45 minutes long?
About us renovating the studio. Yeah. Because we have been for a year.
Yeah. And like maybe I just am so patient that I release that in November. Like how epic would that be? And I really think if you're looking at numbers, like that is the way that I think you're going to get promoted on the platform, because whether it's the viewer or the algorithm, which a lot of times is the same, like the algorithm is catered to the viewer, recognizing that it's a good piece of work, is going to look at that and just be like, the volume of work that was done here. This is impressive. Like this took a lot of care and concern and timing and planning and thinking, executing and patience. And now I'm really partaking in something special instead of this 7-minute tutorial I made in 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, Willem's first video to ever hit 1 million views is a 2-hour-long relaxing film photography.
Oh,
video.
Yeah.
Just 2 hours of him shooting film.
Yeah.
Just chill, hanging out. A lot of what Jason does as well. He has like multiple videos that are like 1.5 hours to 2 hours long about road trips, and those all have hundreds of thousands of views. Taylor, same deal. Very recently, especially like your 45-minute long Spain video. It's really cool. It's taking a lot of what you'd find in traditional media and bringing it to YouTube.
And in that sense, like, you can make 3 different trailers of that thing
Yes.
on Instagram Reels. And how much more traffic is that going to drive to your like movie that you made? And how much more proud are you going to be in releasing those short form videos, being like, this points to something greater that I worked on over a long period of time, instead of just, you know, and it, like, I want there to be grace in the conversation as well, where it's just like, it's okay to use the trending audio. And like, it's okay to just make something on a whim. It's okay. It's experimental. It's fine. It's fun. But like, when we're having this conversation talking about sustainability and it being our career and something we don't want to just burn out in, these are the kinds of things you need to like think deeply about.
For sure. Yeah.
So Instagram Reels.
I'll make more this year. I will make more this year for
I
sure.
plan on making a lot more. I'm
Yeah.
actually in the same way, very excited to just like tinker and have fun with it and just make beautiful things.
They could be a little sketchbook where you experiment. They could also be where you make your trailers.
Yeah.
Or like a short film.
A short film. You can post it on there too if you want. Yeah.
There's different ideas I had of like, you know, different artists, TikTok artists that come out, musical artists that are creating insanely beautiful music. And like, what if you just made a music video for them? Like, you use their audio, and it's not like you're just using their audio to promote your thing or whatever, but you're like, no, I'm going to make a music video for
cool
this.
idea.
Oh, I see what you mean.
For the
Yeah,
song.
yeah,
you
idea.
made.
Yeah.
And then like, obviously that's going to get their attention. Obviously
God,
they're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
share that. Like that would be a really cool experience. There's one song I'd like to do that on this summer. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, don't just rule Instagram Reels out. They don't have to be bad. Some of them definitely are. Like the TikTok guy, is that the one or the they? I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Yeah.
But better things can exist.
Yeah.
And you can be one of the people that makes those better things. We're gonna take a quick break and now move into
A word from our sponsor.
Dude, no, just kidding. It's Get Bored Make Stuff.
Yeah.
We're our own sponsor.
Hit him with the link.
Hit him with the link, www.getboredmakestuff.com. Rallycaps listeners get an exclusive discount code that's in the description of the episode, Rallycaps10 for 10% off any order that you have. Also, if you don't want to buy anything, that's totally fine. We have free stuff on the website as well. Go download some wallpapers for your phone, some different things that are on there. We have a Spotify playlist as well now to accompany you in your boredom as you're creating some stuff. It's just an instrumental playlist that we've created that have just a bunch of either fun, really interesting, upbeat kind of new wave jazz kind of stuff, and then some ambient stuff that's really fun to zone out to. Wide spectrum of music on there. Some of my favorite artists ever are on there, so go check that out as well. That will be in the description of the episode. Now back to the show.
We're back.
We're back. We never left.
What are we talking about now?
We're going to move into a little bit of an audience Q&A for the second half of this episode.
Before, like, do you feel how much colder it is in this room now?
Oh, substantially
We
colder.
turned off the heat and it's 0 degrees outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's
I'm
not
regretting wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah. Do you want to go get a hoodie?
Maybe.
You should go get a
if
hoodie.
it gets too bad.
I noticed
I'll
it
be
in my
okay.
feet first.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
My
this is
feet
a
are great.
chill kind of.
These slippies are doing wonders.
What was it? Welcome it or warm?
No, we're not gonna bring that up on the podcast. So, okay. No, but
You
I mean,
can't say
this
that while I
is,
have a
this
mouthful
is
of
an
coffee.
insanely high quality T-shirt that is keeping my midsection warm.
It is. Yes.
It legitimately is.
It's a very thick T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your arms are cold, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The uncovered skin. You know, the other day there was a warning like, "Hey, don't go outside in Chicago if you're not covered, because like in
your
15
skin
minutes
is out."
you're gonna frostbite,
Bad.
real bad,
Bad.
real bad." And Yeah, Laura and I had been outside that day. So we came back. We're like, that doesn't feel great to hear. But got some sweet video footage of the lake.
Yeah.
Dude, Glatt's reel was ridiculous. Also.
Amazing. That's why we
Was that the
shared.
same morning he did that?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Same day. Same day.
Droning.
So cool.
Sick.
So neat. We're going to move into some audience Q&A.
I did not get that. Did a joke just happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, did you hear what Steven said though?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear him.
He said so cool, so neat.
He said Sony.
Sony. Oh, so
There it is.
did I respond and say so neat?
Yes, you did. You did. And that's absolutely not what he said. Oh my gosh. That was good. That was very good. Wow.
That was amazing.
Impressive.
That was very good. Okay.
Trash can out and then trash can in.
Hey, we trashed Can in pretty hard in the rerun episode. Okay.
Ow, that pan a Sonic is hot. I'm done. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we went onto Instagram, set up a little poll, asked for you guys to submit some questions. We are going to answer those now. See how many we can answer in like the next, 30 minutes or so. Try to blast through and see what we can do. I'm stalling
there are so
to
many.
find them. Yeah, there's a ton of them. So
How many did we get?
a lot we posted it on all three accounts, yours, mine, and the Rally Caps one. So we have plenty to choose
I have
from.
like a solid 40.
So I'm just going to start from the top of the screenshots, and we're going to navigate our way down from there.
You have mine?
Are you at the top of the note?
Oh, I don't. I just have my screenshots.
Oh.
You just go ahead.
I'll just go ahead. Okay. Ty asks, is there any way I can meet you guys in Europe? Amsterdam is waiting for you guys. Oh, I'd love to go to Amsterdam.
What do you
Me
think?
too.
Why can't I say Amsterdam?
Should we
Let's go.
we try to get another season of Ted Lasso going and get on set, go to Amsterdam?
That'd be awesome. Well, we have to focus on getting on the third season of The Bear first.
Yes.
Hey, they might go back to Europe. They had an episode in Copenhagen last season, which was really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have no intention of international travel unless I race Berlin in September. Other than that, I don't really want to leave the country.
It's going to be a pretty
year.
travel-heavy year already for us.
Within the States, yeah.
I doubt we're going to do anything international outside of like Toronto,
Unless I
which is technically international for us.
unless I
For work
go
at
to
least,
the
yeah.
Olympics.
Paris?
Unless you go to the Olympics.
Petty.
Yeah. To film it.
Cool. I was like,
To film it.
it's like, is there something you want to tell us, Mr. 210 over here? Joey Trimble asks, is pineapple on pizza okay?
No. I know you said about positivity this year.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's not my favorite pizza, but I don't mind pineapple and ham.
I haven't had it in forever because I don't eat meat anymore.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
But Hawaiian is the classic
Yeah.
combo.
There's no meat on pineapple pizza.
But no one does just pineapple.
It's always pineapple and ham,
You know,
yeah.
it's like a Hawaiian style.
Always.
Yeah, sometimes it's just pineapple, isn't it?
Oh, well,
I don't know.
that's
No, I've never
wouldn't
had.
know.
That's
Just
perverse.
pineapple, I would no. You need something salty with like the
Yeah.
yeah.
So spam and pineapple.
Oh gosh. I'd say pure salt. I just said some
tube
salt.
steaks and pineapple.
Ew.
I'm okay with it. I don't mind
You're okay
pineapple on
with it?
pizza.
Tuna.
Yeah. Actually don't. I remember
It's
not
not
minding
okay.
it when I've tried it. Because I also like New England style like sweet sauce as well. And it's kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
So,
I don't like
okay.
variations off of classic pizza.
Pepperoni.
Oh, interesting.
Then it just doesn't feel like pizza anymore.
Hmm.
I hate to be elitist about food though. So
I like pizza in general. So
I just like any kind of. Do you like Spaccanapoli?
yes.
Okay.
Well, it's like some of the best wood fire pizza in the world.
Jeez. It's so good. It's delicious. Benjamin Valance asks, tips for balancing work and home life while still finding time to enjoy your own hobbies. We are the wrong people to ask. All of our hobbies are something that we do for work.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
We don't have any
no.
hobbies outside of our work.
I
don't.
No, I do.
I do,
I was
yeah.
being kind of tongue in cheek, mostly tongue, less cheek. It wasn't supposed to sound weird, but it did. No, I have been trying to be like more mindful of this lately. Music in particular, I've been keeping close to the chest for me personally as like my hobby, not really doing anything with that on a business front, just doing it to enjoy it. And also, despite the amount of design work that I've done, especially in the last 6 to 8 months, I still don't do that for client work. I do it for me, and I do it to flex creative muscles that I otherwise wouldn't in photo film. So
I would say, I mean, because I have hobbies outside of what we do. Like, obviously, I love film photography, but I love playing basketball. I'm in a league. I love going to the gym in the mornings. That's why, like, I think for me at least, one of the things, the habits that really help me with partitioning like work and personal life is, like that? That's good, right? Yeah. Nice. Is understanding the amount of work I actually have to get done. So instead of being mindless about like, oh, I have so much work to do, but actually looking at my calendar, looking at my planners and saying, okay, this week I need to get this done. If I get this done, I'm good. I don't have to think beyond that. Like, oh my gosh, it's a rat race. Like sometimes I think honestly, if we're honest with ourselves, it's not like everyone has to work 10 hours a day. That's so unrealistic, especially if you're a business owner yourself and you get to dictate your lifestyle to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I think for me at least, just being very self-aware of my actual obligated work and then working around that has been beneficial for me.
Yeah, great. Our buddy Daniel Ellender, what's up, Daniel? Asks, I love this question. He says, explain the power of, quote, delegate to elevate. Love that. That's so cool. Specifically within the podcast and with YouTube editors, which I think is a really timely question because this is something we've talked about a lot for 2024 for us. One, Chad is our editor. Shout out to Chad. He's sitting on the floor.
He's the
over
best.
there. He is the best.
We don't have it in the budget to have a chair for him.
No.
He's on the floor right now. Sorry, Chad.
I stole his Apple box to put my coffee on. But he was sitting on an Apple box before. No.
So the power of delegate to elevate is not going well for us. I mean, we've delegated to put Chad on the floor. Oh, rip. We need another Apple box for him or a couch.
Well, stool is holding the other camera.
It's because
it makes no
probably get another
we
tripod.
have 2 tripods in the studio and one is a small version of the other one. No, I think there's a ton of, I love the phrasing of that. I haven't heard it put like that before. Delegate to elevate. There's an immense power that comes with teamwork and with bringing people on and kind of getting to a point where you understand and realize that it's time to take some of the responsibilities off of your plate and trust someone else with those, which can be kind of scary at first, but has huge reward down the road.
Delegation is very much tied to... Oh, I just did a Michael Scott. I started the sentence and didn't know where I was going.
Watch this.
Dang it. No, delegation is very much tied to the notion that no one's actually paying attention to you. You know that concept? Of like, we're constantly thinking that people are like, wow, he hasn't posted in forever. Or you're like, where do you go? Blah, blah. Which some people are, and some people might say that.
Right.
But most of the time, they have no idea that you're gone. And so I think really stepping back and going, okay, I'm not as big of a deal as I kind of make in my head.
Yeah.
It can really release the tension of it needing to be perfect.
Yep.
And delegating is a release of needing it to be perfect.
Yes.
Because it is the act of fighting perfectionism and it being a crippling thing for you to not be consistent at all.
Right. I think the podcast is actually a really great example of that because we, by nature, want to be consistent with a show like this. We want to show up every week and be here and have these good conversations to share with all of you. But there is not enough time in the day for us to be taking on all of the back end production that comes with the show. And so passing that off to Chad is a huge stress reliever for us and also is the thing that allows the show to be weekly. Yeah. So, and in that sense too, it's almost like we're not necessarily sacrificing quality. If anything, we're actually elevating the quality a little bit by being able to pass off some of that work. We get to focus more on the topics, the scripts, the set design, things of that nature that just bring the production value and the overall just, knowledge of the show.
Yeah.
up a lot higher as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And something that I love about this season too, and like this literal season of Rally Caps and moving forward into this year, is that as people are watching and listening, they're going to like see a baby step of elevation.
Yes.
Every single episode.
Yeah.
Like visually, audio, like as we continue to tighten up the set, put more lights up, get more sound paneling in here, all those things. Even just visually right now, this with Glatt's episode before, like we have elevated a visual step, and we've wanted to for so long, but haven't had the capacity to.
Dude, talk about, looking at things over the long term.
Yeah.
Like imagine putting a still of our first episode in this studio compared to like the last episode of this year.
Yeah.
Blanket fort.
Yeah.
And then, steps
Yeah.
in between, and
Yeah.
then the final polished set by the
Yeah.
end of 2024 will be incredible to look at that progress.
Idea. Haven't said this to you outside of podcast.
Okay.
But like maybe for a couple months or something, if we're getting more guests in here, like doing a table style
Yeah.
where we can face each other.
Yep.
Love it.
I like the table idea.
Because this is hard.
It
Especially
is
in the middle.
It's difficult for the
And
person
I'm
in the
always
middle.
sitting in the middle. Me,
Yeah.
Gene, in
Yes.
the middle.
Man, I hope there's no first-time listeners on this. That's gonna be so awkward for them. Yeah, Daniel, love that question. Thank you for asking that. JT Oliver, that's your Instagram handle. I don't know what your first name is, but JT Oliver asks, favorite off-camera flash setup. Bouncing that to Gene because he is the wizard of that. Favorite off-camera flash setup.
Bouncing that.
Oh, hey, I didn't even mean to do that. That's
job.
that's good.
That's
That
neat.
was good.
Yeah,
So neat.
so neat of you to say that.
I mean, right now with the digital stuff, I use a Pro Photo flash. I actually shoot a lot of off flash during dance floor stuff. I have a trigger, so I'll trigger it handheld, which has been a lot of fun because it gives a different look. And I do a very similar approach with my film work with a Leica SF20 flash, which I have on a shutter cable that I can also kind of take handheld off the camera and shoot that way. But I don't know. I'm still learning a lot of stuff with flash, but that's how I currently shoot off-camera stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
I don't shoot off camera flash.
I used to, and then my Pro Photo Flash crapped out for no reason, which I'm still pretty annoyed about. I still need to reach out to Pro Photo about that. Everything about
But
it
you bought it
works.
used, right?
I did, and it's super old. So let's see how let's see how much they believe in their product.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I'll lambast them on Rally Caps.
Yeah. Positivity.
Yeah, positivity, baby. Positively, don't use Pro Photo.
Oh,
No, I'm-
so neat.
I'm sure it was a fluke. Joey asks, what does your day look like when balancing family, fitness, and creative endeavors? Another balance question.
You should answer this one with running.
Yeah.
Okay.
You really should.
What does your day look like? What time are you up for a run? And yes, we're allowing you to talk about running right now.
Okay,
It's a big
thank
step. Positivity,
Well, it feels hard to talk about it right now because I'm in such a transitional, pivotal point. I got sponsored by BPN over the past 2 months, starting in December of 23. And
Bear Performance Nutrition.
Bear
for
Performance
anyone
Nutrition.
Unfamiliar.
So I am a BPN athlete now, and with that comes a lot of incredible perks that I'm coming to realize hold me very accountable.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, well, and to go back to the question of like keeping your hobbies, I chose not to do that with running. I don't know this, maybe this is to my detriment. I feel like I end up sharing the things I'm just excited about and see success in through the medium of filmmaking. And I honestly don't know if I want that to change. Like I'm in a, as of recent, like the past few weeks even, feel like I'm in a very, very healthy place with all of my work and personal stuff. And for me, diversification of hobbies, skills, work allows me to feel more comfortable with not having any kind of consistency in any direction, if that makes sense. And so with that, I'm now being coached by Jeff Cunningham, who's BPN's running coach. And so to have a plan where every day I'm just like, in my week, in my day, I know what my workout is.
Yep.
That's really helpful to hold me accountable. And then like having all of the supplements and all of the fueling sent to me and available gives me the ability to like lay all that stuff out the night before, have a plan for the morning. Like today I got up at 5 and got my workout in and was home by 7:30.
Cool.
By going to the gym and treadmill. But I've been building out a home gym to just, it's like cutting out all the fat and with time. Like going to the gym and coming back is going to take me at least 20 minutes to get on the treadmill. And so I'm cutting that out, and I invested in putting a squat rack and a treadmill in my garage. So the winter months that can be done faster. And so it's a process right now. It's been a mess, but the way we have done it in somewhat of a healthy way is just constant communication. That's usually my response. But my wife and I now are very much planning to become more consistent with our days, especially as like we are toying with the idea of Friday being a lift day at my house, with a specific day for rally caps and or GBMS. Those specific days being locked in a week.
Yes. And
then Sabria and I really navigating when I should be doing workouts early in the morning, and then when I can use it during work hours, because now it's my job.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's a very long answer, but
that's perfect.
There's no one way to do it. It's just about intentionality and communication. Really,
Love it. Dear friend of the show, Teo Crawford, thanks for asking a question, Teo. What's something you used to struggle with in regards to art that you've overcome? Ooh. That's a deep one.
That's a deep one.
That's a good one.
You answer it.
I answer it. That's good. That's on the spot, deep question. What's something I used to struggle with? I think I definitely used to, I'm just going to start speaking because I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to reverse Michael
Go ahead,
Scott it.
Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott. Hey, Mr. Scott.
What you going to do? I think I used to feel timid in sharing my work because I never wanted to feel like I was either oversharing or I guess almost like coming off as arrogant in what I was doing or sharing. And I think I've been able to grow a bit in that and learn how to thread the needle and appear confident and proud without being boastful and have some kind of voice and confidence behind the work that I'm sharing without it being like too in your face or too loud. Because that's something that's really important for me, at least when it comes to sharing my work and putting a lot of myself into the images or videos that I create. I really want it to feel like true to who I am. So I don't know if that totally answers the question, but I think that is a struggle that I've had in the past for sure, is like, what's the balance between like sharing too much or I guess like how this is perceived. And I think another smaller part of that is like starting to learn how to not care as much as how I'm perceived. And just that comes with building the confidence a little bit. Is like a quiet, strong presence behind the things that I'm doing that, again, isn't like asking for too much attention, but is just proud and showing up and doing good things and not caring as much about what other strangers online think about it.
For sure.
And focusing more on the people that actually do connect with it. There, I landed on a question. That's great.
That's a great
I
answer.
like that. I stumbled upon it. That's good. Michael Scotted my way right to the finish line. That's perfect. The fettuccine Alfredo really helps. That's awesome.
Gene,
Thanks, Teo.
did you when you were starting out, did you feel like what you were doing was art, and does it feel like art now?
Not when I started out. Someone asked me this a few years ago, like, do you feel like your photography is art? And my answer was actually yes then. This is probably like 3-4 years ago. I think like Steven was saying, there is a transition of like, as you begin to share more and you develop your own voice. Because like one of the difficulties as an artist is if you don't share your work at all, it's all in your head. Like the doubts come in, the insecurities. And as you share, as you see people commenting or verbally talking about it, not only do you begin to find confidence, but a lot of times too, if you have a good group of people around you, they'll help form your style as well through their excitement around your work. Oh, that looks amazing, or like whatever that may be. But I think anyone, not just photographers, when you begin to share your artwork, it takes a lot of time to build the confidence in acknowledging that it's art.
Yeah.
Even if it's for a client, I still would say that not everything I make, but most things I make, I would define it as art. Yeah.
Cool.
I like that answer.
It's very good.
You're so eloquent, Gene.
Gene. Eric.
Oh, sorry, Eric. My bad. Yeah, totally.
I am Aaron Bean asks, where's Bean?
Oh, God.
Not downstairs yet because it's not 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. What time is it? It's not 5 p.m.
All right, Steven.
You silly boy.
Zach Elkins. What's up, Zach?
Oh, Zach.
Visited the studio not too long ago. When
What's up?
DPing, Steven or Gene.
Or Eric.
Or Eric. Dude, this Gene guy's talking to himself again. It's so crazy.
Oops. That's ultimate narcissism right there.
Baby, oops.
When DPing, what questions or guidance do you give the crew or actors to get a shot for a scene?
When DPing.
Let's just bring it to
Okay.
bring it to rerun.
Yes, we talk about this super in depth in a semi-recent episode. I think it was. I'm not going to get the number right. I'm not even going to try.
57.
Was it 57?
I think so.
It was 57. You're right. Yes, it was episode 57. Go back. We'll link it in the description. Eric and I DP'd our friend's film back in October and November, which was a crazy experience. We deep dive into a lot of that whole experience in that episode. That's like an hour-long conversation. In short, could you give me the question again?
DPing, what questions or guidance do you give to the crew or actors to get a shot for a scene?
Oh, wow.
It's hard because you're not
Well-
you're not giving them advice on the acting because the director's doing
No.
that.
As far as communication to crew is concerned, admittedly, we have really worked in a tight-knit small group. So there are certain luxuries that has afforded us, and that we don't need to necessarily know the proper language because we're communicating within our own team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is super helpful. I would recommend that first and foremost.
Yeah.
If you can, work with people that you know,
Yeah.
because there is a certain. I think we've made fun of it in the past, but and we've also learned the value of it too. Is having a certain language on set. Why, like a power cable is called a stinger, or why there are 3 variations of an Apple box, and that's LA, Chicago, and New York. Things like that. Like there's shorthand words for these things so that you can communicate quickly. And that does make a big difference when you are pressed for time on set. Like just having that language that you're speaking second nature with people totally makes sense. And there's a lot of validity to it. But then, one step deeper is like, if you can have that and then also have people that you are super familiar with and work with them, and you have your own language beyond what is kind of the broadly accepted language on set, that makes it even easier to just get really easy, consistent, quick action from whatever that team is. So for us, we were really communicating with Chad, with Isaac, with a few of the other PAs that were on set for rerun specifically. And a big thing with that is, I think, honestly, just being confident in the vision that we have for a scene, knowing what we need for it, deciding on it, and just being clear and concise and getting action. Not the action.
Yeah.
Not the slate action.
Yeah.
That's an action. That's a lights camera action joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad one too. But getting people moving on set and doing the thing. So just being clear and concise with ideally people that you know.
And don't be a jerk.
Yeah, man.
But seriously.
But actually, just don't be a jerk.
We've seen and heard plenty of things about sets with just people using the vernacular, people using stinger and these words in an excluding kind of way, where it's like, you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're not part of the conversation.
Right.
It's great to use those, and there's a lot of function with it. It's actually like a bonding experience to be able to have your own language, because we've worked with each other so much that whenever we're on set for anything, we're saying all these things where it literally sounds like we're talking a different language.
Yes.
But when someone comes into PA and they're asking questions about that, it might not be the right time in the moment.
Yeah.
But at least just being like, let's deep dive on this on lunch break.
Yeah. Later.
Not just being like, I can't talk to you right now.
Yeah.
Like that kind of response is not necessary.
Right.
But rather, if you have time, explain it.
Yeah.
If you don't have time, let's talk about this another time.
Yeah.
Like pocket that, write a
Yeah.
note in your phone. I would love to talk.
Yeah.
I just got to focus on this right now.
Yeah. Which will be challenging in the moment.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about in hindsight like that, but it's very hard to extend grace to other people when you're stressed out of your mind on set. Like it's very difficult. Try your best still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in a DP front, or if you're like grip or whatever, using your hands and making the scene happen, it's much more about the communication with the crew than it is about the actors. Obviously still being pleasant and kind with the actors, but most of the time you're just giving them directions that they're very easily able to follow.
Yep. And have a good shot deck and a good mood board as well. 'Cause
all this stuff ahead of time.
The clearer
yeah.
the vision is in your head, the easier it is for you to communicate all of these things to other people. So whatever is just a good, confident direction, whatever helps you achieve that, do it, because there's no time to spare on set.
That's what I was going to say.
And you
yeah.
got to be efficient with what you have.
Yeah. All the pre-production. Make sure you do your job too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have producers.
Yeah.
Eric,
Yes, Gene.
do you think where you live affects your business?
Where I live, 100%. Yeah, I think like I was having this conversation recently. I moved to Chicago from Michigan 7 years ago, and
You were having this conversation with us recently on your episode
oh,
of
that's
the show.
yes, that's correct. Yes, that's true. Forgot.
Yeah, Eric's episode of the show.
100%. I feel like there are ways to have a successful business or be an incredible creative wherever you live, really. But I do think there's something about more opportunities in a place where it's just more densely populated. But for me, like the big thing is not so much about Chicago itself. It's that we're all here together.
Yeah.
And obviously, like Steven, you made a big jump coming from the East Coast to here to be here for the next 10 years. Because we signed that verbal. Yeah, we signed that. But anyways, I think it matters. I think it does matter. Like the opportunities, the people too. You're going to typically find them in places or move places together where you can be together. But I think it matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's, don't get discouraged if you're not in one of those places. Like lean into what is special about wherever you live. You may not think that because you want to move to Chicago, LA, Nashville, wherever. But what can you do? Like, can you pull out a macro lens and start like going to the field? Like what are you going to do to make it interesting and to just put something in the world you're proud of? I haven't watched this video yet, but I can assume you guys know Jake Frew
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
He had the thumbnail so captivating. There's so many videos like this where I just haven't pressed click, but I want to. I assume he's talking about this because I've watched his other work, but he has a video where he's like reaching into the fridge and it's a carrot and it's like, why your boring life is beautiful. And just that sentiment of what kind of beauty can you find in the mundane, in the boring.
I think that was one of Danny's most watched videos of 2023. It was his first video of the year, I believe, and it was an ordinary day in 2023 was the title of it, I think. And it was gorgeous. And it was just him and Anna going to the grocery store, cooking at their apartment, just super mundane things.
There's so much beauty in that. And you don't need all the drone shots and FPV and waterfalls. And
Definitely don't need all of that. Hey, I will say, if you have a clear vision of what you want and you see a city as the potential catalyst for a lot of those things, move, do it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Or if you see something like Creative Club, for example, which is something we get asked a lot, is like, oh man, how do I start something like this in my hometown? You could be literally the person that is the catalyst for something like this, for a place that would have never expected to have something like this. Like you could be that leader in your community to make that happen.
For sure.
that was Giorgio who asked that. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you, my friend.
This is a great one. Oh, no, it's not. It's specifically to me. Never mind.
Just kidding.
To Gene.
Gene.
Gene. Was it actually to Gene? To real Gene?
I'm being a track now. I'm there now.
Thoughts on Canon versus
Yes.
Sony?
Yes. I'm so happy this question came up.
Janice.
You want me to answer that?
Duh.
Mr.
You don't have to
Cody.
talk about it if you don't want.
I've gotten to a place in my career for doing like photo work now. My short answer is I've been a Canon shooter for years and years and years, the entirety of my career. And I've just gotten to a point where I am super comfortable with the tools, but they're not tools that necessarily get me excited to keep making things.
Yeah.
And so I am beginning to look elsewhere. And it's not so much of a knock completely on Canon, but when I look at other companies, it's like anything, cars, shoes, anything. I'm always looking at what will propel me to getting excited to make those things. And for me right now, I'm just gonna be completely honest, Canon is not doing that for me.
Yeah.
Like I love anything film related, but the reality is that I still make most of my income from my digital work.
Yeah. Yep.
I never pick up my Canon stuff anymore if it's not for commissioned work.
Yes.
And that bums me out because
Oof.
even YouTube too, like I want to make stuff all the time. But when I think about that chunky boy just waiting there for me.
You're talking about your camera, right? What are you talking about?
I think like in the end,
Your R5C has a little bloat on the back. Had too much pasta at dinner.
like
Really got Eric with that one. He's out for the count.
Oh.
I don't know what to say. That's
Digital cameras aren't super exciting anymore.
No.
no, they're not. It's like for me too.
They're
I'm
tools.
actually like for me when I think about it as a tool, I want something that's minimal.
Yeah.
It's also like the way I like to live my life. I'm not trying to have like 20 pieces of gear to run around. Like I just want it to be small, compact, easy to use. And if Sony, if Nikon, whoever makes that thing, that's where I don't have any brand loyalty at this point about
Yeah.
like I'm gonna stick with this brand for 10 years because it's not the brand that's supporting me. I'm just using that tool to support myself. So like for me, if it's Sony, I'm gonna use Sony. I don't care anymore. I used to be so openly public about like my feelings towards like hating brands that do that kind of stuff. But I'm like, that's so foolish of me
Yeah.
to say those things and not take advantage of the things that they're making so that I can be better creative and creator. And that's my perspective for 2024 is like, I'm going to use the thing that's going to get me excited to make things. Not
I think that's a great
so much a
mindset.
name on it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a
100%.
zero-sum game to kind of have that attitude, though? Because, like, every 2 years, you're like, I need something new. I need a different tool. Or is that okay?
I think for me, at least right now, I think it's okay. Like it's some self-awareness too. Like I'm not a gearhead. You guys like, I'm like, oh, I need like, that's not my personality either. And that's why I said I don't want to make those kind of videos anymore either. It's like a lot of self-awareness and realization of, I really don't care that much about, like I need to talk about this thing, but will that thing help me make the thing I'm going to make 5% better? Or will will the hurdle get a little smaller for me to make it? If it's yes, I'm going to use that.
Or
thing
will
now.
it cause you to actually make it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's the
And not just be
direction
an
I'm
idea.
headed towards. And like, yeah, I don't know what this year is going to hold. Like right now, I'm just tinkering with different things. And it might be Sony, truthfully, but I don't know yet. And I'm okay with that.
Yep.
I would argue that it is Sony.
At this point, probably like I'm leaning in that direction pretty heavily.
Yeah. I mean, none of us,
Yeah,
we're,
with what's sitting on your desk right now.
Which I can like return to. It's more of like a trial, but
Yeah.
I bought an FX3.
Oh,
Gene's cornering me.
Gene's bullying
we
Eric.
we've got the creator over here.
Oh my God. Tyler, is that you?
Oh my.
That's wild. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Did you know that the creator was shot on the FX3?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. It really was.
Super duper was, man.
Yeah.
With crazy
Yeah.
expensive lenses.
No, just the kid.
Just
Okay, anyway.
Oh, yo, imagine.
Fire, Fire by Night photos. Wanting to get into film but can't afford a Leica M6. Recommendations.
I thought the beginning of that question was Fire by Night Photos question mark. I was
Me
like,
too.
What?
That's what I
That's the
thought.
handle.
No.
I was
Those
like,
are two
What
what does
questions.
that mean?
Fire by Night photos.
Asks.
Want to get into film but can't afford a Leica M6. Recommendations.
Dude, no one can afford a Leica M6.
Yeah.
I would know. I got mine for free. I couldn't afford that camera.
So just be Steven.
So just be Steven and all your problems will disappear. No, most definitely not. There are film
35 rangefinder.
35 rangefinder. We got Konica Hexar RF. That's a great camera.
Yeah.
The Canonet
QL17. I had that camera for a great camera.
Fantastic camera. If you want not a rangefinder, just a general SLR, man, a Canon A1 is just so you can get it for $100.
If you can afford the Nikon F3, beautiful
amazing.
camera.
There are so many 35mm cameras that are just fantastic. At the end of the day, if you want some encouragement on this front, when you think about film in particular, you are basically using the same sensor, so to speak, in whatever camera you put it in. So that film is going to be the same film, whether it's in a $100 Canon A1 or a $5,000 Leica M6.
Yeah.
Same film, either way. The lenses do make a big difference, I will say. A lot of people will get Leica for the access to Leica glass, which is fair. Leica glass is amazing, but by no means necessary to make good images. Just get any thrift store 35mm camera that you can and just start shooting, because the money that you save by getting a cheap 35mm camera to start, you can invest in film, and that makes a big difference at the end of the day.
But eventually,
we'll
probably run into Gene's issue with the Canon versus Sony situation, and then want an experience that makes you pick up the camera more and feel motivated to do so.
I would say...
I thought you were talking about like a Sony film camera.
No,
I was
no.
like, what? No,
I will also say, like,
that's fair.
My
FX
answer
Vision
when
3.
That's good. That's a good one.
When I get this question, I always say point and shoot film cameras because they come with the flash.
Yeah,
because,
that's
like,
true.
If you don't
Yeah.
understand how film works, you're really capped at like shooting with a lot of natural available light.
Yeah.
But point and shoots are good because they're cheap. The other reason why I suggest those is because you might not like film actually.
Yeah.
So like, don't invest too much money. Shoot a point and shoot camera. See if you like it first. If you like it, it's expensive even on the back end with Devon scanning. So just make sure you like it first before you even entertain the idea of getting like a rangefinder that is a few $100s when you can get a point and shoot under $100. So maybe just start there.
Yep. 100%.
Okay, we're gonna go. I want to get through more of them. We're just gonna do them fast.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Terrence P. Stevens. How do you organize file structure for wedding, commercial, and personal work? For me, it is SSDs, a handful of them to move them around, a 4 terabyte internal SSD on my computer. So operational stuff is always existing on my computer or SSDs, and then everything is archived on a NAS in the studio, which is just 80 plus terabytes. And then you guys are similar, but have docks under your monitors.
Yep.
That
Gene and I have the same. They're not RAIDs. They are these customizable enclosures that you can put whatever drives you'd like inside of them, and then set it up so that instead of reading as a RAID array, you can treat them as individual drives. But the benefit is that you have one USB-C cable going into your computer, but you access both of them as individual drives, which is really nice. I personally prefer to use that. I also use Carbon Copy Cloner to basically build my own RAID array without having the pitfalls of RAID. So Carbon Copy Cloner is this awesome automation software that mirrors drive 1 to drive 2, and all of that is being copied from my MacBook Pro 4 terabyte internal SSD, which I also have a mirrored copy of in a Samsung T9 Shield, which is also 4 terabytes. So I have an exact dupe of whatever's on my internal SSD at all times on an external SSD, and then everything is backed up onto two 18 terabyte Iron Wolf Seagate drives. Yeah.
Great. That was a great, perfect, short answer. Okay, here we go. What's your favorite movie? Cassidy Prince Media says.
Inception.
Whoa. Wait, you go. Favorite?
E.T.
Oh my gosh. Favorite movie is so tough.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Pick
There's
one.
so many good
Pick one.
ones.
Pick favorite. Go.
Pick
Go.
favorite movie.
Go. Okay.
Next. One I've rewatched a ton is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
I adore
Very
that
good.
film. I love it.
Nate Bustamante.
Bergazzi?
No, Nate Bustamante films. He's been making daily IG reels. Very cool. Do you guys still enjoy shooting weddings, or has commercial work or YouTube been more fulfilling?
Yes, I still enjoy shooting weddings, and it is because of that we have all chosen to shoot less of them, because we all love them.
Great answer. Same. How far are you making Eric run tomorrow? That's just a Gene.
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
No,
What was the question?
It's getting too confusing.
It's
with
too
us
confusing.
switching.
This is Eric. That's Gene.
How far are you making Gene run tomorrow? Says Brady Geeks.
Well, how cold is it tomorrow? That's the real question.
He ran because it was frigid. So maybe we just need to get it going
yesterday?
in winter.
Yeah, I had to go to the body shop for our car, and it's like 5
Get to the
blocks
body
from
Oh, it's candy.
It's like $5 from the shop to my house or my apartment. And yesterday, like halfway through, I started sprinting because it was so cold. I was like, I look like an idiot. I don't care. I can't feel my face right now.
For reference, it's been like the feels like has been like negative 25 in Chicago.
Brutal.
Bad.
The past 5 days.
Lots of more questions, but I'm just going to do quick ones.
going.
Rally
Yeah.
Caps merch.
Yes.
Yes, this year.
Yep.
Canon R5C or FX3.
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 R5C.
FX3.
I'm not even going to follow up.
I don't
with that.
own either FX3.
FX3. Yeah, FX3.
What is Steven's favorite dish to cook? Says Tanner Castro.
Oh, whoa. Laura and I have been having this awesome peanut butter noodle dish that has been so good.
yeah.
Some nice
too.
air fried tofu, some cilantro, some lime. Tons. It's delicious. Yeah.
Gene, would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands?
Hands
Also,
for feet.
Tanner.
Hands for feet, right? Hands for feet.
Tanner's the
Like a
best.
monkey?
Hands for feet. I don't want that. I can't run.
I don't.
Feet for hands?
You could.
You can't.
I
Oh,
want.
then I could be a horse.
Hands for feet. Then I can
Did you
climb
go to
stuff.
horse before dog?
Makes no sense. Those are hooves. Yeah.
Dude, I could be a horse.
Just imagine like human feet photoshopped on a horse.
That would be terrifying.
Oh my goodness.
A horse with human feet?
Okay.
Oh, ew.
Last one, Nate Black, longtime listener, follower. Appreciate
Nate.
you. Thoughts on digital medium format?
Oh, very much love.
Eventual for me.
Yeah, I have an incoming loaner from Moment of a Fuji GFX system, TBD on dates and the exact kit, but I am really excited to dabble in that. Yeah, I think that's kind of what all three of us would hope to move into
Inevitable, I
eventually.
think, yeah.
And more
For
so,
slow digital work.
I was going to say, I think cameras like that, and if this is the last question, I'll take a little more time on it. But I think digital medium format is very specific, and I think it in of itself signals a specific use case that you'd have it for. You don't buy that for just anything. You buy it for a specific reason.
Yeah.
And I think eventually we could all see ourselves having a reason to use that camera with the style of work that we are shooting.
I think it comes down to client usage. Like, what are they going to use that image for? So, like, obviously, yeah, there needs to be a purpose for getting it. But I do see all of us eventually with the clientele that we're building up. Yeah, it would justify something like that.
I mean, let's be honest. We're really thinking about it because John Stouffer is back on Instagram. Medium
I've been
format digital.
The Hasselblad X2D would be
Gosh,
a
beautiful camera.
dream.
Go follow John
Dream.
Stouffer on Instagram.
Yeah.
JohnStouffer. Love you, John.
We have an episode with him from the very first
Yeah.
season of Rally Caps. We should get him back on the show.
Yeah.
It would be great to do a follow up with him. I feel like so much has changed
Yeah,
for
because
him.
he's working for his mom now. But
We'll find out in the episode.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
yeah.
Last I heard, well, they had another kid.
They did have another kid. We do know that much.
Okay, we're going
And
off the deep
interior define collapsed since we last saw him. So there's that too.
Yeah, they're back in business, but they got restructured.
So they're like Alibaba now. A shell of what they used to be.
Okay, that's a great space for ending.
Really good ground to stick a
Awesome.
flag into.
Thank
That's
you
awesome.
so much for listening. Whatever platform you're listening on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, feel free to give us a rating. Leave a like on the video if you're watching on YouTube or a comment. That helps with the algo. That was lame. And
Hey,
so
something we said at the end of the last episode. We said if you made it this far, comment your favorite flour. People actually
started
did
doing
that.
that.
So do that again this episode. What's your favorite
pizza.
Pizza. What's your favorite style of pizza? If you made it to the end,
Great.
The very end. Comment below.
Is that gonna be a new thing?
Yeah.
A question at the end.
A question at the end.
Pretty good. Like it.
If you made it to extra endings.
Thank you so much for sticking it out to the end.
Do you guys like long episodes? Also, leave that answer in the comments below.
Because this
too.
was long, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hour half.
Hour 12. But I think
Well,
I'm liking that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
fun.
All right, love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.